Hello guys, I hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering am I the butthole? If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too. A huge thank you to the members of our channel. You are truly appreciated. We have a new member to our channel, Fred Gomez. Thank you very much, my dude. It is truly appreciated. And thank you to the other members of our channel. You are just amazing. And with that being said, let's get straight into today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from ThrowRA at 1287. Am I the butthole for emasculating my boyfriend? I, 30 female, met this guy, 28 male, in January, and he became my boyfriend in February. Come March, the world goes down the drain, and we decide to move in together for the time of the pandemic. Everything is great. In the morning, we have this routine where he browses Reddit and gives me the highlights. A few weeks ago, he shows me this post where this guy is challenged to an arm wrestling competition by his girlfriend. The guy didn't seem to have any sort of training / workouts where his girlfriend did. My boyfriend started educating me on biology and how men are stronger than women. I told him there were way too many factors to take into consideration to make such a broad comment. I've been doing weightlifting for 2 years, and my boyfriend has never seen a gym in his life, so I used us as an example. That was a big mistake. He got really defensive and condescending and made comments like, "That's cute," but I just let it go. Fast forward to yesterday, he's playing some game with his friend online, and I can clearly hear him talk about me. Well, curiosity killed the cat. At first it's all pretty and my ego is bursting, but then he says I'm delusional because he thinks that I'm stronger than him. Pause. Seriously, I know I'm not weak, but I'm not weaker than a girl. So later, I decided to call him on his BS. I asked him if he wanted to come work out with me the next day, this morning, so he can show me how strong he is. He accepted, and I was happy because I've been dying to bring him and initiate him to something I'm passionate about. So this morning, we went to my friend's 27 male garage. My region allows groups of 10 or less, and we wipe everything. I told him we're going to do deadlifts. It's my favourite exercise, and I was planning to test my personal best, so it was perfect. My friend was there because he corrects my form, and it's been our Sunday ritual since COVID-19. We started light and slowly worked our way up, doing the same number of reps as the other. Comes 185, his form starts to crumble, so we make him go lighter. But 185 really isn't that much for me, so I kept stacking the plates. He looked very supportive and impressed the whole time. I ended up beating my personal best at 265. I was ecstatic, and so were they. When we got in the car, he was very silent. I assumed he was just tired. We got home and that's when he exploded and asked me if I was proud of myself. Apparently, I humiliated him in front of my friend. I apologised. I didn't realise he was feeling that way. He got angry and said it really changed the way he saw me, like I'm less of a woman now. He stormed to the basement. I started collecting my things, but now I'm wondering if I should have been reading between the lines and stopped at 190 or something, or just dropped it and never suggest we worked out together. I knew very well I was stronger than him, but I just had to prove it to him. Am I the asshole? Update, I still didn't get a word out of him, but since some of you asked, I will make sure to update you when he does. Thank you for the overwhelming response. That was a bit of a rollercoaster day, but it made it easier to know I'm not completely in the wrong. So as you can already see, the comments below are saying, "You're not the asshole," which you're clearly not, because this guy clearly has a wrong view of women, the way he looks at it, saying, "Oh, women are biologically weaker." And I think he deserves to be called out on that. So no, I don't think you're the asshole in any way whatsoever, especially when he's telling his friends online, "I'm not weaker than a woman." I mean, come on, man. If you're not training in the gym and someone's training, you're going to get fucked over. What an idiot. Let me know who you think is the asshole in this story. The boyfriend or the girlfriend. I think I know where it's going, but you gotta let me know anyway. Our next story comes from Throwaway Killot. Am I the asshole for blowing up at my friend who constantly makes comments about my boobs? I have big boobs. I'm currently at 52 kilos and there's nothing I can do to change the size of these things unless I have surgery. I'm also extremely shy and from a very conservative family, so my resentment and shame towards my bust is an ongoing issue. My friend Sarah is one of those unfiltered free thinkers who says whatever is on her mind. She's also slim and her chest is very much in proportion to the rest of her body. We work together and I'm always secretly jealous of how great shirts and tops look on her, whereas I feel I look very sloppy and unprofessional with oversized, ill-fitting clothes. Sarah has this way of always bringing up my boobs in conversation, starting off complimentary but often ending with a subtle insult. She knows they're a physical feature I'm uncomfortable with, but doesn't let up. Examples of things she'll say is how my boobs look good now, but in a few years they'll be down to my knees. Ha 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 ha. Or she'll show me comments on Reddit where people are discussing chest side preferences, and most are commenting how they much prefer a smaller bust over large, or just a general reminder of how work or men will never take me seriously because of my cartoon boobs. I know she's trying to have light-hearted fun, and I've told her a few times to drop it before. Now we're working from home, we all have daily video calls and meetings. Uniform is not necessary and can wear what we like. A few days ago it was extremely hot and I was wearing a lighter, more revealing top than my usual baggy cover-ups. During this video call in front of 6 other colleagues, Sarah starts vocalising her thoughts on my appearance. "Holy shit, put those away, you look like you're in a porno. We don't need to see that thing first thing in the morning, ha ha ha." I was mortified. One of the colleagues laughed along, but the rest looked uncomfortable. I felt close to tears, made an excuse and left the meeting. Sarah called me up half an hour later, asked me what was wrong, and I went off on her. Told her to go fuck herself and was sick of her constant jabs about my appearance. I went on a 10-minute tirade and hung up. Sarah's been off sick since that day and we haven't spoken again. I'm wondering if I was too harsh and maybe should call up and apologise for my outburst. Was I the arsehole? Edit. I'm fuming. I just spoke with a colleague, John, who was part of the video call that day, and he told me Sarah's been telling everyone that's me who's been bullying her and make her feel insecure about her appearance. When she made those comments during the meeting, it was in retaliation to how I've made her feel. Apparently, I said she looks like a boy and called her flat-chested and ugly several times in the past. I have never and would never say this. I don't even understand the stupid boy body insult because a small bust has always been very beautiful and classy in my eyes. Anyway, John knows she's full of shit and has suggested we speak with HR. The others will back me up, and I know most people here suggested I do this and I wasn't sure at first, but fuck it, I'm reporting her. I don't know why I even consider her as a friend. She's fucking mental and annoying. Edit 2. I now feel stupid for even asking the question, am I the arsehole? I thought I may have been at one point because the video call was amongst mostly workmates rather than clients, and I wasn't sure if my sensitivity towards my body image made me overreact to a joke that could have been innocent. I now realise it wasn't. I've also spoken to another co-worker who was closer to Sarah, and she thinks Sarah may have already reported me to HR. She said the phone conversation we had after the meeting was filled with abusive bullying language and physical threats. It wasn't a pleasant phone call, but the worst thing I said was she can go fuck herself and I don't want to speak to her again. The rest of the conversation was just rehashing all the comments she made about my body and how it made me feel. She also claimed that I've been making inappropriate jokes about her appearance and work ethic through the years, and this conversation was a long time coming. She also suggested that I convince the guys in the office to take my side by being a flirt and a tease. Did I mention that I'm stupidly shy? My head is swimming and I think I may have been dealing with an actual psycho. I don't know how it's come to this ridiculous level of craziness. All I wanted to do was get on with my fucking work in peace and get through this crappy time, but now I have to deal with this bullshit. Updates, just to answer a few questions I've seen. I've contacted HR with my complaint, and I have a lot of old text messages and emails with comments and memes Sarah sent me making fun of my chest size. John and the other colleagues are fully supporting me as well as my manager. It will take a while for them to get back to me, but I'm confident that things will be sorted and Sarah will be dealt with. My breasts alone aren't 52 kilos, 114 pounds. My overall weight is 52 kilos. I mention this because my chest seems larger on my small frame, making clothes that others wear and look nice in look completely gaudy and cheap on me. I can't lose any more weight to make a difference on my bust size. I won't get surgery because I've been working on my body image issues, which my shyness and upbringing did a number on. People's comments don't usually devastate me as they once did, but Sarah tried her best to break me down. Thank you to all for all the clothing suggestions. I will definitely look into tailoring some tops and have spent some time checking out Bravissimo, which looks great. In hindsight, I should have confronted Sarah more sternly in the past, but I guess I was trying to avoid conflict. Others have suggested I may allow her to gaslight me, which may be true. I just want to move on at this point. Update 2. The co-worker Lucy, who keeps in contact with Sarah and told me earlier that Sarah may have reported me to HR, has just phoned to tell me that Sarah has suffered a serious panic attack. Lucy does not want to take sides but suggested I reconsider taking drastic action. Sarah's too unwell to talk to me herself, but has suggested I drop my complaint and she will drop hers, citing the whole thing as a misunderstanding and stress-induced disagreement. I've had panic attacks before in my life and seriously felt like I was going to die. It's a horrible feeling, and if Sarah has honestly just had one herself, I don't want to push her too far. I still want to address her comments over the video call, but I'm wondering if I should just drop the other complaints. Sarah's asked me to move teams so we don't directly work with one another, but it doesn't seem she wants to apologise yet. And just to clarify to people who assume I was wearing a bikini top or boob tube during the meeting, I wasn't. It was a short sleeve plain t-shirt which hugged my breast more than my usual baggy tops. I don't like to hold grudges, and I think getting her fired during a time like this may be a shitty thing to do. I feel she has already punished herself enough by displaying this fucked up behaviour to others and losing a lot of respect from co-workers. If we don't ever have to interact with one another, I'm up for that. I have a suspicion that Sarah may have found this post and read it, which thought I would feel bad about, but I don't really care. Last updates. I'm not dropping any of the complaints. Sarah, fuck you Michelle, and I have spoken, and although it started off promising, she is mentally unhinged and without a conscience. I did not realise how deep her hatred runs. Not only did she mock all of those things I told her in confidence about the way my family treated me growing up, she accused me of fucking every guy from work to get ahead. Now I know where some of those fake office rumours about me came from. I've been such a naive idiot and allowed my shyness and aversion to conflict to stop me from fighting people who manipulate and walk all over me. I don't need this misery in my life. If she's reading this, get professional help immediately. I know you desperately fancy John and, as you said, despise the way he looks at me. I know it bothers you that he took my side and has been great support. Maybe I will go for drinks with him when lockdown ends. If I don't make any new updates, just assume the right person was reprimanded and faced consequences of their words and actions. Holy shit. That went from 0 to 100 at the end there. I don't care if you're a friend or whatever. Making sexual comments during a work meeting, you bloody stupid. Oh man, absolutely not the arsehole in my eyes. You can't do that. You just cannot do that. What do you guys think of this story? Who is the arsehole? Or I kind of know where it's going again. But have any of you ever faced any sexual harassment type stuff in the workplace, and how did you deal with it? Did you go straight to HR or did you deal with it yourself? Let me know in the comments below. Our next story comes from a random username. Am I the arsehole for giving my mum an ultimatum with her cheating husband? So back in early March, my brother had a destination wedding. My mum and stepdad were to arrive a week before and couple it with a vacation. He backed out at last minute due to back problems. Before I arrived, my mum asked if I'd want to cancel my hotel and stay with her since I was only staying the night after the wedding. Wedding goes fine, nice not having my stepfather there. He tends to complain and make the focus on him at a lot of other events. Was a low-key worry of mine here. That night my mum is using their shaded iPad and text started coming up between my stepdad and a woman's name my mum didn't know. He has it synced to the same Apple account as his phone. In the text, nudes sent back and forth from them amongst other juicy shit. He's literally doing this live on the nights of my brother's wedding. Naturally my mum is pissed and starts to prep for divorce by documenting all of this, calling her lawyer in the morning, etc. Well, the quarantine stopped the process before she broke the news to him, but now turns out she's having second thoughts, saying how she doesn't want to die alone and is too old to date again. She's in her early 50s. She asked that I just suck it up for holidays and that I wouldn't have to see him for anything else. This didn't sit too well with me. A previous ex of mine she didn't like caused her to make a comment of, "If you stay with him, I'll never be around you if they are." To be fair, my ex's comment that caused this was, "My family doesn't know how to raise kids correctly because they are divorced." He was batshit insane, but her comment seemed pretty hypocritical now. I told her that if she brings him to Thanksgiving/Christmas, which I host at my house, I'll tell the whole family right there what he did on my brother's wedding night. That really chapped her ass, but I'm standing my ground no matter if I'm the arsehole or not. I actually feel like I'm the arsehole either way. In my opinion, my brother deserves to know, so he doesn't spend time around this punk ass bitch too. Am I the arsehole if I hold this info as a ransom for her to divorce? Edit to clarify, my mum has specifically asked me not to confront my stepfather. Her reasoning was, he will want to divorce me if you let him know. Now, I personally just think this is your mum's decision, so I'm going to go with you actually are the arsehole in this situation. I think your mum needs to make that decision. Regardless of what comments she's made in the past, she's going through this now, and I think you just need to support her She's going through some mental things if she thinks she's too old to be dating again and thinks she has to settle on another arsehole. It seems like she's sandwiched between two arseholes at the moment. You need to support her somehow here. What do you guys think of that story? Arsehole or not? Let us know in the comments below. Our next story comes from Mental Pair. Am I the arsehole for shaming my sister-in-law for how they raised their kid? My husband is well off. He's a partner at an engineering firm. He has a younger sister, Karina, who I feel has always been jealous of his success. But that hasn't stopped her from taking advantage at times. For example, 10 years ago, my husband gave her and her husband a big interest-free personal loan in order to help them start a business, which they have repaid in full by now. My husband and I have a son, John, and my sister-in-law has a daughter, Maria. Both kids are 17 and are about to take our country SATs in a few weeks. I have no problem admitting that Maria is a better student than John and will maybe do better in them. However, we have high hopes for him too. My husband wants him to get into engineering, though John has his eyes set on med school. We know that's a big goal for him, but we've done all we can to help him. We've spent a lot of money on tutors the past couple of years and tried to support him in any way we can. Maria, on the other hand, is studying on her own without help and is doing just as well from what it seems. Now here's where the problem is. Maria is very competitive. They keep in touch with John and she always goads him into comparisons that sometimes devolve into arguments. Our son is mature enough to brush these arguments off quickly. We try not to shield him from confrontation. We don't think it's going to do him any good in the long run. But he is 17 and some of the things Maria says tend to stick. The last thing she said was that if he does succeed in his goal and does get into med school, it won't count as much because we, his parents, essentially paid for it by having so many tutors helping him. When he told me, it was like I was hearing Karina's words through her daughter's mouth. I'm sure that no kid is so competitive that they'll be intentionally hurtful to such a degree just a few weeks before exams. The only explanation I could think of is that Maria only repeats what she hears at home from my sister-in-law's jealous ass. So I called her and went off at her. I won't fully repeat what I said because of 3,000 character limit, but the gist was that I shamed them for what they think and told them that they should at least have the decency to not repeat their vile opinions to others. Especially when these others have helped them in the past, and yes, I threw that loan in her face, saying that if help cheapens someone's success, then they should be ashamed of needing a loan from my husband to get things started with their business. Obviously she just didn't stand there and take it, and other hurtful things were being said by both sides. When I finally told my husband, he didn't really want to get involved. He just told me to make things right with her because I was the one who started the argument. And then he went to our son to tell him to not pay attention to jealousy and never feel shame for having an advantage. So I know that he doesn't think I was totally in the wrong here. Am I the arsehole? I think you are the arsehole in this situation. The dad was completely right, totally staying out of it and telling his son the right thing. There was no need to cause an argument in any shape or form. Your son is 17, he can deal with this himself. He doesn't need mummy backing him up. Makes it look even worse. Wow, what do you guys make of this story? Who is the arsehole in this situation? Do you agree with me or do you think otherwise? Let me know in the comments below. Am I the arsehole for buying my 5th property rather than help out my siblings? For context, even when I, 44 male, was a child, I was incredibly into owning property and designing houses. I work as an architect and doing quite well for myself. Bought my first duplex here in Germany a long time ago where I rent out both parts. Then I own 2 houses in Italy and 1 in Spain. 2 of them are getting rented out as holiday homes, whilst the last one I use for vacations and rent out a room to a friend of mine. So I have a lot of passive income at the moment, but only after a lot of time and money investments and refurbishing of these houses. I rent in NYC at the moment as my job has made me move here temporarily. My brother, 48 male, does an apartment. He has a family with 2 kids while my wife and I are childless. They're currently looking to purchase a house that fits all of them nicely. While they found their dream house, it's out of budget for them. Meanwhile, my wife and I are about to buy our 5th house, this time in France. It's going to be one of our largest purchases yet, significantly larger than anything else we have done. It's a great deal of property however, and ideally what my wife and I want to retire in. When having a family FaceTime with my siblings and parents, I brought it up. Initially very happy for me, my brother mentioned how he needs a larger home for his family and how I should give up on this opportunity to give him money for his house and spend the rest on refurbishing their new home. I just laughed and said a flat out no. Edits, I thought this was a joke. This was apparently the wrong move. My entire family turns against me and starts berating me. After 10 minutes of them taking turns telling me to buy my brother a house, I said I'd think about it and left. I'm a bit of a pushover, so after talking to my wife, we agreed we could wait and buy their house and rent it out to them at no profit. Apparently, this was insulting to him. Having his younger brother be his landlord, and my parents said I should just outright give him the money we have been saving. I told him to piss off and started moving forward with the paperwork on our house in France. After talking to my friends, they said I should put my family first, and it's a lot like we're struggling for money. Now I'm confused. Am I the arsehole? Edit. This edit is super late, but I want to clarify my brother does have the money for a 4-bedroom house. He isn't broke, just not enough money for his dream house. The dream house is approximately double as expensive. I personally don't see how this person could be the arsehole in this situation. I mean, you've got to live within your means. And why does your family think that you should give them money that you save? Just because you don't have kids and you have extra money, why should you give that money to someone else? That just doesn't make sense. But what is your opinion on this story? Do you think the OP is the arsehole or not? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway guys, thank you for being here today. It is truly appreciated. If you did enjoy the video, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell, as it truly helps the channel out. And with that being said, take care and much love. Goodbye.